Today I'm going to tell you, when it comes to weight loss, how fast is too fast. Hey, this is Colin DeWay. If you are new here and you want to master your metabolism and get in the best shape of your life, start now by subscribing and click on that bell notification so you don't miss anything. Alright, I think it's safe to say when it comes to weight loss, we all like to see fast results. I mean, let's just be honest, we like to see that scale trending down. It's motivating to see your body changing in the mirror. However, while there are some positives about faster weight loss, there's also some negatives too if we aren't careful. So stick around at the end of the video because I'm going to talk about what kind of pace you should be looking for with weight loss, some of the positives and negatives of slower versus faster weight loss, and how to keep your results once the weight is gone and avoid that yo-yo dieting behavior. Because hey, weight loss is awesome, but what good does it do if you just put it right back on? So it's pretty common when people go on a weight loss plan that they do something really extreme to start seeing faster results. And especially if you cut out a lot of carbs, you'll probably see faster weight loss in the beginning, but I think it's important that you know what's actually happening here. Our bodies store water and fluids in the form of glycogen in the liver and muscles, which is basically like stored energy you get from taking in carbs. When you drastically reduce your carbs, especially in combination with extra exercise, you quickly reduce the glycogen in your stored muscles, which results in a quicker drop in the scale. So yeah, when you do this, you'll see a bigger drop in the scale, and it's not uncommon for somebody to go on a starvation diet and quickly lose like 10 pounds in a week because of this. So while you may have lost a bunch of weight, you didn't really lose much, if any, fat. And that's what we really want, right? I mean, sure, you probably lost a little bit of fat in that process as well, but the majority of that weight you lost was just water weight. You've probably seen this online or in movies where fighters are trying to make a certain weight, right? They try to sweat out as much water weight as they possibly can to quickly reduce their weight so they can weigh in and then rehydrate as fast as possible after. When they do this, they aren't dropping a bunch of fat and then putting it right back on again. They're just dropping a bunch of water and then rehydrating and getting ready for the fight. Which, side note, this is why wearing a bunch of heavy clothes while you work out with the aim of losing fat is completely pointless. You won't burn more fat by doing this. All you do is sweat more, which may show a decrease in the scale right away, but again, that's just hydration. In fact, you could argue that this is actually worse because if you overheat from wearing all the heavy clothes, you won't be able to perform as well, you won't be able to do as much exercise, and you're actually shortchanging yourself. But all this is basically to say that the quickest way to see changes on the scale is through water weight. But we're not looking to lose water, we want to lose fat. So that begs the question, just how fast should you lose weight? As always, it depends, but I am going to give you some breakdowns based on you, your goals, how much weight you have to lose, and what's most important to you. For instance, if you're a performance athlete and or you want to minimize muscle loss as much as possible while dieting, then you want to keep your weight loss per week on average to be at most 1% of your body weight. And keep in mind, that is the absolute upper range. If you really care about maintaining as much muscle as possible or performing your best, you're actually probably going to want to keep it on the lower end to maybe about 0.5 to maybe 0.8% of your body weight. Think about that. That's not a lot of weight. If you're 180 pounds and you lose 1% of your body weight, that's 1.8 pounds. Take me, for example. I'm in contest prep right now for my first physique show, and I'm about 175 pounds right now, losing a little under 1 pound per week. So that's really about 0.5% on average. But hey, if you're stepping on stage and they care about muscle, you need to make sure you're maintaining as much muscle mass as possible. So that makes sense for me. Maybe you don't care about muscle. Maybe you don't care about performance. Maybe you have a lot of weight to lose. Well, then you can lose faster, but you still want to make sure you don't lose too fast. So keep watching and I will tell you how fast you can safely lose. But there is something very important about weight loss that you need to know first. Your body will always adapt to whatever you do. As you diet and lose more weight, your metabolism will slow down, and there's literally no way around this. This is basically the body's self-defense mechanism against starvation, so it gets better at holding on to the calories that you give it. And think about it, what do you have to do to see faster weight loss? You have to eat less calories and or burn more calories through exercise to create a bigger calorie deficit. This not only makes it harder to keep up with your exercise and actually feel good while you diet, but it also makes more drastic reductions in your metabolism, making it that much harder to continue to see results long term. Think about it this way. Let's say you figure you have about 60 pounds to lose. If you start your diet and you drop your calories super low and start doing a bunch of exercise, maybe you lose about 20 pounds in that first month. However, your metabolism will start to adapt to this and weight loss gets more difficult. So weight loss starts to slow down and maybe you end up being down 30 pounds, but then you plateau. Now the problem is when you plateau, and this is when, not if you're barely eating and already doing a bunch of exercise, you have no room to make more adjustments to get the weight loss going again. Or even worse, you start to feel hopeless and end up giving up. But now the problem is you have to remember that your metabolism has slowed down from the dieting. And this is why it's so easy to rapidly regain weight post-dieting if you aren't careful. Whereas if you take the slower approach, you'll be able to eat more food, be less hungry, do less exercise, be able to perform better, and just flat out feel better. And even more importantly, once fat loss does stall as your body adapts to what you do, you will have plenty of room to make adjustments. So with the slower, more sustainable approach, you're way more likely to reach your long-term goals rather than just some quick weight loss that you just put back on again. So the more calories that you can eat and the less cardio you can do while seeing results, the better off you will be long-term. All right, I know what you're thinking. You want to hear this number. And don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. I do think there's a place to lose weight more rapidly, especially for people who are really obese. In fact, there can be some real positive things that come from faster weight loss, because let's be honest, it can be really defeating to see such slow weight loss all the time and make it harder to stick to the plan. So yeah, there's some mental benefits of taking a faster approach. Plus, if you're obese, there are definitely some health factors we need to keep in mind as well. For an obese person, it'll be healthier to get some of that weight off your heart and your joints and things like that. But just because faster weight loss here can be better, that doesn't mean there isn't a limit. Because of all the reasons I've already listed, you have to be careful and not go too fast. So how fast should someone in this position take their weight loss? To me, you want to keep your weight loss to about 1.5 to 2% of your body weight, perhaps 2.5% in some cases. Keep in mind though, 2 and especially 2.5% is actually pretty fast weight loss. If you're someone who's pushing about 300 pounds, 2% of 300 pounds would be 6 pounds in 1 week. That's a lot, and honestly, most people probably won't see that. Now don't leave yet, because I want to make sure you are set up in a position to keep your results. I really want you to keep in mind that these numbers that I'm giving you is kind of the upper limit, and you're flirting with disaster by going too fast. There is absolutely nothing wrong with taking a slower pace. You have the rest of your life ahead of you. Do not rush the process. Most people who can't keep the results are people who are constantly rushing the process and therefore always yo-yo dieting. Honestly, typically the faster the weight loss, the harsher the rebound. I think this is on one hand because of what happens to the metabolism when you diet too fast, and on the other hand, it's because a lot of people diet in completely unsustainable manners. Which is why I strongly encourage you to not be too restrictive with your diet. Make sure this is something you can do long term, because it doesn't matter what you do to lose the weight if you can't keep it off once the weight is gone. Remember that your body is primed to store body fat fast after dieting, and there's even evidence that shows you can create new fat cells if you gain weight really fast, like many people do when they crash diet. And once a fat cell is created, you can never get rid of it. You can make it bigger or smaller, but it's there for good, which is just one of many reasons why it gets harder and harder to lose weight when you yo-yo diet too much. So you really need to make sure whenever you're done dieting, whether that's because you reached your goal or it's just too hard to do anymore, that you slowly increase your calories doing something that's called a reverse diet. This is honestly the missing ingredient in most weight loss plans. Very few prepare you for what's going to happen after the diet. This way you can improve your metabolism back up, you can start enjoying more food and not gain all that weight back. And even if you stop the diet when you have more weight you want to lose, that's okay. At least this way you can roughly maintain your weight and then come back and get the rest off later rather than losing and gaining the same weight all the time. Very few people will lose all the weight they want to in one attempt because of how adaptive the metabolism is, and that's okay. Use reverse dieting to play the long game and finally win. Don't know what reverse dieting is or how to do it? No worries, just check out this video and I'll explain what it is, why it works, and how to do it. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and I have a playlist for you that's in the description of this video that you're really going to want to check out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will see you next time.